Gateway, which again is the biggest concern for me, because that's really the answer to all of this, but unfortunately 10 to 15 years into the future. My understanding of the $900 million vis-a-vis Tiger grants and First Starts is that that money was taken from projects, other projects around the country, or transferred, as the Senator mentioned. And my understanding of civics is that the United States Senate's going to have to sign off on that. So relative to you getting handed a $900 million check, that's not going to happen anytime soon, or at least it's far from a certainty. Secondly, you know, the Gateway projects, all told, it's about $29 billion to complete 8 separate programs. The Gateway Project Development Corp was put together because, understandably, Amtrak, you would agree, doesn't themselves have the expertise to oversee something like that, so they have a compilation of Amtrak being a part of it, but New York, New Jersey representatives, as well as representatives from the DOT. At the end of June this year, the DOT pulled out. They saw it as a potential conflict of interest because they would oversee the funds if indeed they were to come at some point in time. Now, the DOT is still, notwithstanding that conflict, because of an act of Congress, involved in the Moynihan project, as well as the station, as well as Union Station. But there's not one piece of legislation in the queue to give that same relief to get back onto Gateway. So that's another significant impediment in the way. The FY18 budget, sir, as I understand it, with New Start's funding, is drafted in a way so that projects that aren't already being built or are shovel-ready are precluded from funding. So again, Gateway is at zero from that perspective. And then just lastly, as it relates to the numbers, the draft environmental impact statement that was out in the tunnel that we should be 3 months away from completing was $7.7 billion. The cost that the environmental impact study has now projected for Gateway is $11.1 billion, and another $2 billion relative to just fixing the tunnels we have, for a total of 13. So that number is doubled. And again, as I understand the draft environmental infrastructure project and the way it works, there's hearings starting in August. If we're lucky, by this time next year, there'll be an approval, and assuming someone has $13 billion sitting around in Congress, the first we'll see this tunnel completed will be 2030. So I say that because I'm a person filled with optimism, but also realism. And there's a lot of ifs along that path that I just laid out. But if it all goes together and there's $13 billion there, we're talking about 2030, which makes your job that much more important. We've got a lot of commuters to worry about, and again, the economic vitality of this whole region to preserve for at least the next 15 years, dealing with what we got. And that's what we need to concentrate on.